and this guy's never had anyone help him on the other side. They don't have enough skill position people around him. And Greg Olsen, I like him. He's a great ball catcher. I think he's still got a lot of good years left. He's not an elite. He's not elite anymore. He's never really been elite, but he's solid. I think he can help, but they need more. So those young wide receivers, you got to step up. You have got to give Cam Newton and Steve Smith the help that they need to run their offense. I really think that if this team does not win, this is Ron Rivera's last year. I don't think they really – I think he's proven that it's a reason why it took him so long to get a head coaching job. So I think he's going to be over and done if they don't win. If they win, I still don't think he's going to get that extension. Well, they may give him a short extension because I think this is his last year, or it may be next year's his last year. He's in a lame duck situation right now. Nevertheless, let me hear about those Saints.
New Orleans Saints. I hate to talk about them because I'm a Falcon fan.
What's that button?
Yeah, overrated.
Don't get that button. Trust me.
2012 had to be the most despicable thing I've ever seen on defense. That was just atrocious. Whew.
They sound like an old man.
448, almost 4,800 yards allowed on defense.
What?
They allowed a quarterback rating of 93.8. And running the ball, it's so terrible. They allowed 6.2 yards of rush. That means me, him, and him, we can run a train straight through that defense. Now, the strength of this team, well, first let me start Sean Payton back. And I think that will help their offense a little bit. But the strength of their team is Drew Brees, point blank, period. Now, at receiver, they lost a couple of pieces here and there. But they still have the elite tight end and Jimmy Graham. They still have Marcus Colston. Still have Lance Moore. They lost Chris Ivory, which might not be a big loss.
He's a jet, damn it.
No. Now, they still have Sproles coming out the backfield. He can catch. Now, the player to watch for this team is just the same defense, period.
That bad.
They signed Victor Butler in the offseason. He's gone with an injury for the season.
Wow.
Will Smith, one of their best pass rushers, he's done for the season. So now that they lost their pass rush, it's just going to be straight up the middle again, I guess, because they won't have a pass rush, I don't think. I mean, they drafted a good safety on defense and Kenny Vaccaro out of Texas. And the worst case scenario, I think, is I don't think it gets no worse than last in defense. But I think that'll be the worst case scenario if they're just worse than last year. If that happens, then I think George Benson just leads the sales team.
Oh, wow.
But enough about the Aints. Let's go to the hometown team.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to cover the Atlanta Falcons and how appropriate the biggest Atlanta Falcon fan here will be covering them.
That's not true.
For sure. Ooh.
I said it. All right. In order to cover the offense, I'm going to ask a request. Can Steve Austin help me name off the players on this team? I shall begin. This offense is led by quarterback Matt Ryan.
What?
We also have Julio Jones.
What?
Quintorris. We also have Roddy White on the other side.
What?
We also have Tony Gonzalez, who came back.
What?
We also upgraded Michael Turner to Steven Jackson.
What?
We also brought back for another year Jaquiz Rogers.
What?
Listen, this offense is arguably the most talented offense in the league. And I do mean over Denver. Matt Ryan has improved each year in the league. I know he catches a lot of flack, but Matt Ryan is still young, and he has improved his touchdowns, yards per throw.
Keep on.
He has improved his accuracy. Last year, he threw 68%.
And that's just crazy.
And if he improves this year, where are we going? We're talking about 40 touchdowns, 70% passing, 5,000 yards. I mean, this guy is really gonna, and he got a monkey off his back last year by defeating the Seattle Seahawks, and it was his defeat. He took that team on the last go, and he defeated the Seahawks. That's a big monkey off his back, and he almost defeated San Francisco, and he did it against two of the top defenses. Enough about Matt Ryan. One of the biggest things with the offense is two questions. Can Tony Gonzalez in his last year teach the intricacies of the game to these young tight ends? I like Chase Kaufman. I like them coming out of college. You know, he might turn out to be a good pass catcher for us, not a run blocker at all. The young guy we drafted out of Stanford, Toledo, this guy has all the intangibles, and 6'8" got me looking at the red zone.
We seen that in person.
If Tony can teach him how to play in that red zone, what a weapon for Matt Ryan. I know a lot of people want to talk about Steven Jackson and that he has too much tread on the tires. So did Michael Turner. We went 13-3 with him. Steven Jackson is an upgrade over Michael Turner. Now the offensive line, that's the big hole on this offense. This is what's going to hold them back. Lamar Holmes is thrust into stardom. He's not ready. Garrett Reynolds barely kept his job at the right guard position. Peter Conz is back in his natural position, which is good. Blaylock is back. He's been the most solid person, which is not good for your offensive line. And Baker has been injury prone his whole life. And I mean, we can only hope that he stays healthy enough and plays like he did last year, which last year, mind you, was a contract year. So we have to be wary of it. Sure. This offensive line scares me. But the scary part is that this offensive line, surprisingly, is not going to hold this team back. We have not had a good offensive line or a great offensive line in years.
That's true.
So here's what's going to happen on offense. Either we're going to throw the ball downfield because we have time, or we're going to throw the ball to the likes of Julio Jones on screen passes, Roddy White on intricate routes, Tony Gonzalez over the middle, Steven Jackson, Jaquiz Rogers. So the offensive line is not going to damage this team as much, but it does make them defeatable, which is scary. Now, the one question on offense, can the special teams help? Special teams did not help this team at all last year. If they can get Matt Ryan some extra yards, we can up our points to the point where our defense can turn into a pass-aggressive defense. Now, speaking of defense, our defensive pass rushing was 28th in the league with 29 sacks. That's not good. Matter of fact, John Abraham had 10 of them. He left and went to Arizona. It's up to OC, the new acquisition, to step it up. It's also up to Jonathan Massaquoi. Is this the year he steps up? Is this the year that a rookie steps up because we drafted 2 defensive ends? Is this the year that Corey Bierman, steps out of the limelight of his wife and turns into the man of the household that the Falcons need? We also need linebacker depth. I mean, right now we have only one really good linebacker, and that's Witherspoon. And Witherspoon, I'm going to predict it now, going to make his Pro Bowl, but he won't play in it because hopefully they'll be playing in the Super Bowl. Right. But Steven Nichols, you can't guard it. You're horrible in pass coverage. Akeem Dick, you're horrible in pass coverage. Akeem Dick, sometimes you read the defense wrong, and you're the middle linebacker. That's bad.
If you read them.
But the one thing I will say, Atlanta took their corners, which their corners are average, and they made them work last year. This year, they infused youth and talent and athleticism. We're going to have some trouble with our young corners, Desmond Trufant and Robert Alford, but with Mike Nolan there, I'm hoping he coached these guys up to not make too many mistakes and be able to emphasize their athleticism, which, to be honest, the Atlanta Falcons have not had athletic corners in years since Ray Buchanan was here.
Oh, yeah, it's been
Wow.
The head coach, Mike Smith, is arguably the most underrated coach in the league. And not because of his wins and losses, but because of the small things that he does. He made sure to make a focus on character.